Hello, welcome to your weekly astrology update, your astrology weather for the week and kind of for the month. For the rest of the month, I'm going to clue you into a couple things that are very, very interesting coming up. Um, yeah, this is Carrie Astro Breeze, and we are going to get going today. We are in a very, very dynamic cycle. We're coming into our new moon, our Leo new moon, but we'll get there. But if you look right now, your astute people will probably see two kites. But before we delve into that, you probably even see something more basic as a green triangle. We have a grand trine with Venus, Pluto, and Uranus. Pretty tight. I mean, 3 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees. And it's been yesterday it was in effect, today it's in effect, tomorrow, as Venus was moving at that point. And if you remember, we have this Barbeau's basket still in place, right? We still have our Pluto right down here, going over to Neptune right here, and then going over to Uranus, and then going over to Leo. Earlier, last month, we had Jupiter go to that spot. Remember that? It was over here. So let me just get another color and just show you that out here. Can do it this way. So it's here, here, and here. So there's our 4 points, and I'm not going to draw across the center because it's sort of already there. But that basket is still in place, or that four-pointed how I say it, more than a grand, well, I'm not quite, yeah, I don't know if you'd say a grand sextile, almost. I mean, they're all sextiles. They're all 60 degrees apart. 60, 60, 60, right? Pretty cool. So now we have Venus making this, let me go ahead and put this here, this next spot right on this interesting configuration. So there's really only one more, place. And that would be no, well, we'll leave it at that. It would be over here in Sagittarius, but it's like really close in there. I don't want to give you too much things that confuse you, but look at this geometry. I mean, this is just incredible. It's beautiful. Look how beautiful this is. So let's look into this, and we have this grand air trine. We have Libra, I mean Venus in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, and Uranus in Gemini. So grand air trine, intellectualism, information, intelligence. What did I hear today? We're going from computer silicon chips to what are they called? They're or, organelles or something. I can't remember the name of it. The first time I heard it, I was shocked. But they're made from human brain cells, and they're going to replace silicon chips. Yeah, this is the time we're in. So anyway, super intelligence, artificial intelligence, that's still there. Um, Super learning, communication, maybe a bit of a overarching intellectual theme, I would say, is at the base of it. So then we also have these two kites, and Venus, let me actually get rid of a little bit. Let me get rid of some of this here. You already know that's there. Make it just a little easier to see. Um, all right, leave it there. So Venus, let's talk about that one. Actually, there's a two. I'm not sure which one I would go into first. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll cover both of them. Anyway, let's go through the Venus opposition one. So Venus is there and opposing this one and this kite here. Let's say the blue and green kite, because then we have the green and the Christmas kite, the green and red kite. So we're going to talk about the blue and green kite at first. So in this one, we have Venus opposing Neptune. Well, this is it's just a slightly painful energy with this opposition. God, what's the easiest way to just describe it? So we have things that we want. We have Venus in Libra. It's very nice. It's very, diplomatic. It wants to get along. It wants to make friends. It wants to be harmonious. And then there it is opposing Pluto. So, I mean, opposing Neptune. So Neptune is the dream. the illusion or the disillusion. It's where the dream is, but it's also where deception can occur. It's um, it's this interesting energy um, of trying to believe your vision, of trying to hold optimism, of trying to be truthful, but yet encountering deceit. It's encountering foibles in the opposition. It's seeing other people's places where I think they wheedle out of stuff, where they lose responsibility, that they don't want to do what they need to do. They want to shirk it off, and then maybe they'll give you some kind of line or story um, to try to distract you from the truth or from what they are doing, put a cloud or a shroud over it. So really watch that. Venus opposing Neptune, those are two great planets, but when they're in opposition, I think there's a lot of deception. I think there's a lot of information coming out that will be um, hyped and fluffed and put out for people to be deceived. Let me just put it that way. Venus is also making nice um, trine energy over to Uranus, though. Okay, so something sudden, Venus trine Uranus, it would be something coming out of the blue, something maybe volatile, something this could definitely be stock market instability, marginal corrections, where maybe where things correct, where they've been artificially suppressed or inflated, that they may seek correction. But there could be some definite wild volatility with this going on. And then Venus is also trining over to Pluto. So we had it opposing Neptune, but she's trining over to Pluto. Well, 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 So what do we got with that? So Venus trining to Pluto, I think you would see a flowing financial relations. It could be maybe flowing partnerships. This is where I think we get some vision, but then I think it can get distorted with this Neptune opposition. I think you got to really read things and people in finances and markets very closely because we have this focus, this spotlight, with these two planets of flowing energy, Venus and Pluto, in this intellectual air energy. So flowing financial, flowing relationships, you want to get to the bottom. There is partnership transformation. This is really good for that. Things can be worked out, but just watch for these people to sneak or squeeze out of stuff. They'll agree and then they won't hold to it. They'll give you a lot of excuses, maybe a lot of justification, and that's what you got to kind of cut short. No, enough of that. All right, so that's a big one. But then we're also coming from, again back to the Venus opposing Neptune. This is also money. Venus is money, and it's also oil and war. It's also big news about this. So we're probably going to get more of that in the collective, in the mundane. Again, possible deception, and it's like the fog of war. Again, the I think this is going to dominate the news and dominate the week. And then we have, opposing fiscal realities. So there's a big chunk of stuff there for you as that unfolds. Um, Before I forget, today, where's Mars? Okay, right there. Mars changes signs into Cancer. So I think as any sign changes, we could have abrupt shifts. It's gone from the information, all of this blah, 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 into it feeding into this trine now into maybe a bit more. Um, uh, I think we're going to get some bad news about the strait, about oil, about more bad news, I should say, agreements, disagreements. The Strait of Hormuz, the other one, I forget the name of it. A lot of those things are going to shift people to start feeling more. They're going to feel the crunch. They're going to see, uh-oh, diesel prices going up. Uh-oh, food prices going up. So that's going to help, or going to make people be in more of a protective mode. Mars and Cancer, protect the home, strong defense. I need food. I need protection. I need my home. I need real estate. I want to feel comfortable. And this is going to be very poignant right now with all of this political stuff and um, the deception, the war, the prices, the fertilizer shortage. This is all going to be hitting those that have not been paying attention stronger. I think those who've been paying attention is going to be nothing new, except that you're going to be hearing about it more. All right, getting on to the second kite. Venus is still involved. It says, she's got part of the trine and going to two trines on this one and a sextile. So, what part are we talking about first? Let's talk about the 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 big part, the big opposition here with Mercury. So Mercury, just a few days ago, went into Leo, thank goodness. But it is a very dramatic time, dramatic, attention on bringing out information, on dramatizing things, on coming from the heart, overstatement, making a big deal in communications. This could be big reveals about a lot of things. A lot of things could be coming out, a lot of volatility, transformation, um, power plays, volatility, definitely coming out, with Mercury, information, Pluto, transformation, things hidden, back and forth. There's, a lot of media, maybe media subterfuge, maybe calling things out, definitely happening with that. And um, then we've got a trine. What do we got going on here? I didn't put it on here because it'd be too messy, too many things. There's a trine going on with Mercury also going over to Neptune because you see they're both fire signs. So Mercury over to Neptune, more fuzzy communication, more potential for deceit right here. I guess let me just, you can see it right there. Mercury, it'd be going this way. I just don't want my pretty kites to get all too messy. All right. So anyway, Mercury's involved there. It's got the opposition and then it's also got a trine. So it's the trine you think is nice, but I think it's going to be easy to be deceived with this trine here to Mercury. Easy for somebody to tell you a story. This is what, is dovetailing in with that Venus opposition. You're going to be easy. You want to be fooled. You want to be deceived. You want to believe them. You want to believe their rhetoric and their story, but be careful. Let's just say, be careful. All right. Um, what else is here with that? Uh, Mercury, let's go Mercury over to, let's do the sextile over to Uranus. So we've got more technical information, more communication, more surprise encounters with this going on right here. This could be things coming out of the blue, things we didn't know about. Like I said, like one of the things, maybe instead of silicon chips, we're hearing about human chips now. Being made from human brain cells. Just nuts, just nuts. Crazy. Um, all right, what else have we got going on with that? We had this one, this one, this one. Okay, so there's that big kite going on there. We also have, let's see, did I get everything up here? I've got lots of notes. Yep, I did. Okay, so that's all well and good. And then let me just go ahead and whoops, let me clear this out so I can move the screen and everything. All right. Okay, so Thursday, we've also got coming into, let's see, it's Tuesday. Let's see, Wednesday. Oh, let me get back to the new moon. There's so much going on. It's like oh, the new moon, right? It's like, this is a big deal too. So let me just put it ahead a couple hours and you'll get it exact here. So, moon, uh, come on. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. There it is. Okay, there we go. And then back to our days. All right, so we have this nice Leo new moon. Oh my goodness. Well, it's like launching, it's new moon time, fresh, new, dynamic plans. Fresh, new, upbeat, dynamic, from the heart, lively, something you want to consider, bold, putting something out there. I like this moon. I like the new moon in Leo. I'm a Leo rising. But it definitely is energizing. And then look at the nice pile up here in Leo. And we get again the moon node. This is giving us the average. It has already moved into the Leo eclipse. but this is the average, or they call it the mean node. So this is technically in Leo as well. So four planet pile up here now. Got a lot of Leo energy, big, grand, expansive. With Jupiter there, it's going to expand everything it touches. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. All right. So Mercury, we have the sextile to Uranus. So again, surprise encounters, technology, communications you might not have thought about maybe coming up, especially if you have things at those degrees. Otherwise, look to the world stage to, watch the news the next week. I mean, it's hard not to. All right. So Thursday, we have the sextile between Jupiter and no, sorry, Mercury and Venus, and it just passed that by this time. So pleasant flow between the mind and values. This is nice coming in. So we've got the mind. We're taking that energy of the new moon, and we can put it into something practical. Into with the mind, getting it into this flow of something pleasant with Venus, with your values. Mars has already moved into Cancer, so maybe this is getting more practical with storing food, getting things that you need before prices skyrocket. Starting to look at things that from a practical level. Friday, we have a pretty quiet day. Not much is going on. Come on there. There we go. Not much is happening on Friday. Luckily, it's kind of a restful day. But Saturday, why do I keep doing that? All right, Saturday. um, we have the conjunction now, Mercury and Jupiter, you see right here. So this is very interesting. Dramatic fire energy, right? It's like amplify your voice, big ideas, charismatic confidence. We could have big news, right? Because they're still opposing, they're still in the realm of opposing Pluto. So we can have big news, big scandals, big drama, something amping things up, amping your voice. Um, bringing up any kinds of communications, and it could also go over the top. So watch that. Things could get lively, dramatic, heated, with this fire energy as well. All right. That's it on Saturday, pretty much. And then coming into Sunday, we have an interesting Mars in conjunct or quincunx over to Pluto. You see the 3 degrees in signs. They don't mix. There's nothing in common. We have water, and we have air, and we have a cardinal sign, and we have a fixed sign. We have a feminine sign, and we have a masculine sign. No, nothing there. So it's like maybe, and then again, I'm, always look at, the malefics, Mars and Pluto. This could be something hidden, dangerous, a blind spot, maybe some false optimism. Um, Maybe something, if with real estate, we might see bubble. There might be just some definite interesting energy on that, but hidden things, things on your blind spot. And this dovetails with a lot of that deception. If your hair is to stick up on the back of your neck with something or something the last few days, pay attention to that because here on Sunday it might show up. It might come out now. It might be um, if you're astute, it might be brought up to the fore. All right. Also, yeah, I already talked about that. Okay, so then coming into Monday, um, we have the square of Mars over here and Neptune. So here now, where there it is. It's it had just passed it because I have it for, in the middle of the day. But anyway, 3 degrees. You can see the square there. Actually, it starts building Sunday. So now we're here. More potential for confusion. We've got Neptune. Anything with Neptune, you can think lies, confusion, deceit. So Mars, challenges. So we have Mars, war, and Neptune, cloudy. We've got Neptune, oil, water. So the fog of war, war of the oil, water, we could have I mean, who knows? I don't even want to speculate, but anything to do with that conflict. Also, our inner compass could be misdirected. We could be dealing with also fatigue. Neptune squares to Neptune could bring on fatigue, or things again, bringing out this deception. So you watch the things in your life, but also on the grand stage, on the world stage. We're going to be seeing this, and I think there may be some people or some things or some ideologies trying to get away with something. No, imagine that, But I think it'll be coming to the forefront. I think that we'll be seeing that more. And then we also have Mercury trining over to Saturn. We got this good with bad, these interesting things. So Mercury right up here, 14 Leo, over Saturn, 14 Aries, a fire trine. All right, so but this is clear thinking. This is grounded judgment. Good, right? Because we need this to deal with the with that deception. But we could have some like Mercury is like in Saturn, it's like maybe being practical and organized ideas. So it's going to maybe take those ideas and bring it into more practicality, more groundedness, maybe turning abstract things into reality. So I think this is going to help that fogginess. I think if we're astute, Saturn is strong, and I think that it will lend some clarity over to the mind, to the communications, to that mercurial ideas, information, because it is so quickly nowadays. I mean, you just put in something in any of your search engine, the AI connected to that are just the information is incredible, even though a lot of it is tainted, they're built on whoever put certain information in there. So you have to always, fact check and don't believe all of it. I'm catching it all the time in lies or wrong things or wrong thinking or wrong programming or just downright hallucinates. So anyway, um, so I think with this we got a mixed bag. So just we have to watch out for the deception, and if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But then we also have another one here, another thing to kind of cloud the issue or confuse it or add something good. I mean, it's both ways, but you just don't let your guard down. That's all I want to say with this because there's too many conflicting aspects. But we have one more, Venus, nice, lovely Venus sextiling over to Jupiter. Wonderful, right? Benefic planets, and they're both in their masculine expression, outward energy, expanding. Maybe this is also a good, I don't want to say it's a lucky day, but it could be a good alignment day. It is a lucky day too. It could be, where you're aligning um, things that you care about, money, wealth, love, joy, with good cheer, with friendly associations, with expanding anything that you love, that you want to put focus on. I think it's a very good idea. I know part of the, astrological updates is, putting out some warnings, looking at not only the good things, which slide in, but putting emphasis on some of the potentials, the problems, because we get into a normalcy bias. We get into wanting to think and believe everything is fine, when it's not. But I don't like the pessimistic, black pilled point of view either. We just need to have that wide scope. And I guess the older you get, the more times you go around the block, you see how many deceitful, how much crap, lies and deception is all the time. So anyway, it's still nice to be hopeful, optimistic, but be real about things. So this is a mixed bag this week. I think it's a very interesting week. And one thing, I guess I might save it for next week, but I wanted to just mention a little bit because we do have near the end of the month, we have another very interesting thing coming up. We have the Venus retrograde coming up in the following month. But what I want to say, it reaches its shadow point. Venus is right over here. When it hits over to 22 Libra, that is where it's going to retrograde back to. So what we need to do is just start paying attention. I mean, we're not even through the halfway through the month yet. Next week, when we do our call, we'll be just past that. Well, this week, the weekend will be about the halfway point. So as we get closer to the end of the month, it'll actually be on the 31st that Venus hits that degree, that 22-degree Libra spot where it will retrograde back to. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So Venus will be going forward in Libra. And let me just show you quick. We'll dissect it when we get a little closer. This is a big week, but I just want a heads up. All right, so watch Venus up here in Libra. I'm just going to go by the week. So it's going to go through Libra. There it is, the end of the month. There it's, see, it's 23. I said it was 22. Now it's gonna, you remember that degree, okay? It's gonna keep going through. Now it's gone into Scorpio. See it? It's in Scorpio. I think the end of September. And then it's retrograde now into October. See, it's got the little R on the bottom of it. Okay, it's 8 degrees. Now just keep watching it. And it's gonna go 6 degrees. Okay, it's still retrograde. There's 3 degrees. See, it's still retrograde. Okay, just keep watching that there. It's going backward now. Now it's in Libra. I should go by week or days now. All right. See, it's still retrograde. 24, it's slowing down. 23, slowing down. See how look at I'm going every day slow. Now 22. Now watch in another day or two. There's Steve. Stationary. It's now gonna go the next. It's gonna go direct. And there it is. See, it's 20. Now it's going forward again. Right? Okay, so it backed all the way up to there. Okay, so what we need to do is see that is like November 14th there, that it's gonna be past, it hits that degree and it's going to start going back through that area. So what we need to do now, and is we're coming into the end of August, and start watching now because it's not going to hit like on the 31st, but it's we're going to repeat, whatever these things are, these issues now near the end of the month coming in, all the stuff coming in now is going to repeat when we hit that degree in November. All these issues, whatever is going to be coming up, it's going to come back in October and November. So just pay attention to that, and we'll hit that a little bit more next week. But I just wanted to share that with you, what we have to look forward to. And then we got that whole Venus retrograde. Don't buy anything. No big major, I should say anything. Of course, you got to shop. No big major purchases because when it's during their Venus retrograde, things tend to not do well. Um, yeah, we'll discuss that more, but it's a long little period there. And then when things are on the shadow side, that's not a real good spot either. So if you're going to do any major purchases, I would do it now. Um, you got a little time left, but then as we get closer to that shadow time, and then definitely when it's retrograde, you can still do stuff during the shadow time. But when it's retrograde, you don't, I mean, you don't want to buy a little computer, a car, a house, not a good time for that. All right, that is it for this week. Interesting moon. We also have the meteor showers where they proceed. I can't say that right. Um, Meteor showers in the peak of it the next few days from like midnight till dawn, and just get outside. And it's nice now because of the new moon. You'll be able to see it. So if you're in a dark area, they're pretty bright, pretty good. I'm gonna keep watching across the sky. I guess you go park out, get yourself comfortable on the lawn chair and um, something to cozy up in and look up, get comfortable, and watch some of these streaking across the sky. All right, until next time, have a good week. Bye for now.